Hi friends, Grace Rizza here. Hope you're having a great day. This is probably one of the most important videos that I've created for my colleagues, my employees, for my clients. It's a good one. So make sure that you are paying attention because it will help solve a lot of problems. I've been in business for 14 years now. When I'm creating the video, it's December 2023. And I've worked through a lot of very difficult conversations. I've worked through having to let people go. I've worked through conversations where people are complaining about something. I've worked through conversations with clients where they really just don't understand the issue that they're talking about, or they're asking for things that aren't even possible. I've worked in a dental office setting prior to starting my agency in 2009. And I've seen patients that just cut you off, that don't listen, that have so much anxiety that they can't listen. I've seen productive conversations get destroyed where people are talking over each other and not in the conversation to actually listen. So the habits that I'm going to share with you today, it's really just one quick little trick. It's going to help transform difficult conversations for you and make your life easier, both at work, at home, in any kind of relationship. It is easy to remember. It is fairly easy to implement. And I really hope you get a great deal of value out of it. So that being said, it's simple. First thing is I have all these little phrases that I use at work with my team. One of them is to ask, not accuse. So when you go into a difficult conversation with someone, even if you're short on time, it's very important that you don't come into the meeting and say, you did this, you did that, or you didn't do this, or you didn't do that. You don't want to start with an accusation. Instead, ask. You may say, Grace, I asked you to follow up with me weekly on this, and I haven't had a follow-up in a week and a half. Can you tell me more about that? That's going to show the person where you're at, why you're asking this question, and allow them an opportunity to respond. They might say something like, well, I did bring this to you 2 days ago. You told me you were too busy to look at it. You told me to bring it at a later time. So I was going to bring it tomorrow when you had some more time. And then you could say, oh my gosh, that's right, you did. I am very sorry, I forgot about that. And you can move forward. But if you go into that conversation with an accusatory tone, like you never brought this back to me, that person is immediately going to get defensive. So the first tip, and I fail at this sometimes myself, but the first tip is to ask, don't accuse. So when something comes up and it seems wrong, make sure you don't go in with an accusation, because you're immediately positioning yourself in an oppositional situation with whoever it is you're trying to get on the same page with. Okay, so next is a very simple strategy. It's 3 A's, AAA. And the first thing you're going to do is acknowledge. So if a person comes at you verbally or however, and they accuse you, or they are not being fair, or they're cutting you off, or they're talking over you, whatever it is that they're doing, you're going to acknowledge them first. So when they stop talking, especially if they're elevated in their tone or they're yelling, once they calm down and stop talking, you're going to acknowledge them. What does this look like? It cannot be robotic. If every time you acknowledge people, you just say, I understand, it's going to piss them off, because you're just saying that you understand to get them to shut up so that you could say what you want to say. You're not actually communicating that you genuinely understand or have empathy for their frustration or their situation. So let me give you an example of this. Let's say a patient comes into your practice and they say, well, I was told that my first appointment was going to be free. And now you're telling me when I'm checking out that I owe you money for something that was done. I don't want to hear it. I'm not paying this bill. I'm da 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 da. And they're angry. And you say, I understand, but, okay, that is immediately going to escalate the situation instead of take it down. Okay. So you take out the word but from your vocabulary. Do not say the word but, because it's an oppositional word. It puts you against the person that you're talking to. Your goal here is not to argue with the people in your life. It's not to be right. Your goal here is to understand what the other person is feeling, what they're saying, and their perspective, and then get them to come down so that they have the capacity to understand what you are feeling, what you have said, where you are at. And if the whole world just communicated like this, it would be a really great place to live. But let's just go back to that example. So this person is upset. You can't just say, I understand, but then you also asked for this thing that wasn't a part of the deal. And when we did it, we thought you knew that that was going to cost money. You cannot say that. I understand shouldn't be a robotic phrase that you use, and you need to take it a little bit further. So the patient comes in, they're upset about their bill, and you need to relate to them as a human being. How do you do that? Well, you just say, I understand, I never like when I go somewhere and there's a surprise fee, and that is never our intention to have a surprise fee. Let me find out what happened here and see what we can do for you. Now that allows the person to feel understood. And that allows you a little bit of time to gather information. Now, obviously, you're going to have to go to your dental assistant, go to the doctor. This patient came in off of this special. When they called to confirm the appointment, we told them it was a free consult. And then you started doing work for this patient. Did you have a conversation with them about the financials? And then you can determine, did our team actually make a mistake with the financials and with the communication, with getting approval to do things that would be billed? Or is the patient playing games? And you do need to consider both. You don't want to be so apologetic that you just immediately go to, I'm so sorry that happened. Let me make it right for you. Because you will become a punching bag for unhealthy people if you do that. So you acknowledge first, I understand, Grace, that you were not told that there would be a fee for this appointment today. And I understand that you had treatment started. Let me talk to the team and see what we can do to get some resolution on this. Buy yourself a minute and go gather the data. You have to figure out what happened. Let's say in this case, the doctor says, well, she did come in off of that special, that's fine. No one ever told me that. No one told me that. So I was just doing what I normally do. We need better communication so that I know what I'm dealing with. This patient, don't charge them. The doctor's going to fix it, right? Or Grace came in on a new patient special. The consult was no charge. But then when she was here, she asked for us to look at this tooth and it was infected. So we started doing the work because she was in so much pain. That's when the appointment went beyond the original offer. So let's print up the offer and let's explain to her where the miscommunication happened. And hopefully we can get her to understand that clearly this emergency treatment wasn't a part of that offer. And we will do a better job in the future. We're going to change our systems. A lot of these miscommunications come back to broken systems and instructions. So if you have a system that before you do anything, you get written approval, you get a signature on a treatment plan, you get total acceptance to avoid these types of issues, then you need to figure out who is responsible for that piece of paper and how did that get dropped. So internally, every time you have a hiccup happen in your business, you want to take that as a learning experience and tweak whatever system or protocol needs to be tweaked to ensure that the same learning experience doesn't happen twice. So once a learning experience happens more than once, it becomes a mistake. The first time is a learning experience. And it's very important you don't call first time mistakes, or it will really demoralize new team members that are really doing their best to get up to speed and learn how to do things. So your working environment needs to be a place that allows for learning, or people will not stay on board with you. All right. So after you acknowledge, then you're going to ask for clarification. So I understand, Grace, that you came in off of this new patient special and that you were under the impression that there weren't going to be any fees. I know how frustrating it can be to see a surprise fee, and I want to make sure we do everything we can today to figure this out. Can you tell me about what ad you saw? What was the verbiage in the ad? Where did you see it? I just want to make sure that I'm looking at the same thing as you. And then be quiet and let them talk some more. Now, when you're asking questions of this nature, you're asking them with the intent to understand, but you're also now in control of the conversation. So that's really, really important. So you're going to acknowledge with your whole heart, not with empty robotic words like, I understand. You're going to avoid the word but. So that makes you defensive and puts you in an oppositional state next to the person that you're trying to get on the same page with. And then you're going to ask questions to fully understand the situation. You might even go and gather information from a third party, or so that you're not facilitating any like gossip or misinformation. And then you're going to simply refocus on a solution. So acknowledge, ask, and advise. That's your third A, advise. And you're going to be able to advise a solution only after you fully acknowledge and gather the details that you need to gather. What happens a lot of times in roles that are patient interfacing, or for our business, client interfacing, is someone comes in hot with an accusation, and a lot of people freeze like a deer in headlights, and they can't use their critical thinking skills, and they can't function confidently because they feel attacked. So if someone accuses you, it's important to breathe, acknowledge their feelings without saying, I'm so sorry, we did everything wrong. That's not acknowledgement. That's kind of cowardly, and that doesn't defend your ethics, your integrity, your processes, and even your confidence in yourself and your team. So the customer is not always right. I know that's an unpopular opinion, and I'm okay with that. The customer is not always right. And if you get your team to the place where they can have these confident conversations, and it's just habit, it's like breathing for them to acknowledge with their heart, to ask the right questions and gather the right information. Once they have the right information and they're functioning like a normal person, not like a deer in the headlights, because they've deflated that maybe angry person, now you're able to get to solutions. Now, let me just tell you this. There is a caveat to this. There is a percentage of the population who gets through life by complaining, by demanding things for free. They get things for free. When you encounter one of these people and you acknowledge with your whole heart, they're not going to come down. They're going to stay up here. They might even escalate it. They might get frustrated because you're asking questions, seeking to understand, and they're realizing that you've figured them out. So when you start asking questions, a person with bad intentions, and this does exist, unfortunately, is going to escalate, and they're going to get more accusatory, and they're going to start triangulating, and they're going to do other things to try to not find a solution. And in those situations, it's important to say, we're going to have to set up a meeting to talk about this, or to escalate it to your superior. So managers should already have the skills to set boundaries and to not let the aggressive, abusive, verbally abusive patient or client penetrate the surface, because this is what they're there for. They're there as kind of like a shield almost for the rest of the business, to protect the energy of the business. So if things escalate beyond what your front office team member can handle, or beyond what you think is fair, and you need really strong boundaries, then you need to move forward in that capacity. No patient, no client, no employee is worth your peace. And so if you're constantly having difficult conversations with one person who won't acknowledge, won't communicate professionally, won't take responsibility, then you owe it to yourself and the rest of your team to make a change. So I hope this information is helpful for you today. I'm very confident if you truly teach your team to acknowledge, ask, and then advise, you will have patients that listen, you'll have team members that have a cohesive working environment, and you'll be building a really strong culture. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. Please, before you leave, like, follow, share. Definitely follow us on YouTube at identalmarketing.com. Our business is Identity Dental Marketing, and we have a free Facebook group where we share a ton of information. Dentistry is growing with grace. Thanks again. Have a great day.